This lesson is on factoring perfect squares. The reality is this one's the easiest, I think. There's just a couple of things you have to remember as far as when it will work and when it won't work, but it's pretty easy. All right, again, you're going to be told to factor and you're going to be given something. In this case, though, it's only going to be two terms. So there are four criteria that tell us it's a perfect square. When factoring gets confusing is when all the types of factoring are mixed in together. Perfect squares are the easiest to spot because number one, it must be a binomial. Bi means two, so that just means it has to have two terms, two pieces, okay? It must be a subtraction. If you have two terms but it's an addition, it is not a perfect square. You must be able to square root both parts, okay? The whole numbers will be able to be square rooted, and the exponents will all be divisible by 2. You can only square root an exponent or a variable with an exponent if it's divisible by 2. So you must be able to square root the whole numbers or the coefficients, and the exponents must all be able to be divided by 2 evenly with the whole number. So, two terms, subtraction, you can square root it. So your first step is to look at your problem and make sure that all four criteria can be met. Okay, step one, or criteria one, is this a two-term problem? Yes. Is this subtraction? Yes. Can I square root x squared? Yes, because I can divide an exponent of 2 by 2. Can I square root of 4? Yes. Step two, square root each term. Now, if you guys can do this mentally, just do it. We're going to write it down here so you can see it, but if you can just do it, do it. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 4 is 2. Variables with exponents, in order to square root it, you simply divide the exponent by 2. So technically, there is an understood 1 right here, but I don't write that. Okay, I mean I can, but you're not supposed to. So for me it's fine, but you know what I'm going to say. Online stuff, you need to make sure for official tests that you don't put that one there. So square root both items, or both terms. And then there is a specific form that perfect squares have to be in. Now I'm going to give you the long drawn out one first. Square root of the first term plus the square root of the second term in the first parenthesis. Second parenthesis, square root of the first term minus the second term. So you're going to do first term plus second term, then first term minus second term, or you can use this beautiful little thing called the plus or minus. That's going to take the place of a plus and a minus. So your two ways to write this is this way. Oh, let me clean that up. Is to write it as first term plus second term. X plus 2 or x minus 2. 1 plus, 1 minus, or you can simply write first term plus or minus second term. So they have to be two terms, it has to be subtraction, and I have to be able to square root it. Then I square root them, and I put them back in the right form. Let's look at another one. So here's our problem. Factor 49x squared minus y squared. So step one, let's go through. Does it meet all four criteria? Is it two terms? Yes. Is it minus? Yes. Can I square root the whole numbers? There's a square root of 49. Can I divide my exponents by 2? Yes and yes. So then I simply square root each term. The square root of 49x squared is 7x. Square root the whole number. Divide the exponent by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Square root of y squared is y. And then I simply put it in the correct factored form. I can either do first term plus second term, or times first term minus second term, or plus or minus. And that is it on these. Factoring the perfect square is easy. You square root your whole numbers, divide your exponents by 2. Square root whole numbers, divide exponents by 2. One more for good measure. Factor 25y squared minus 36a4. Are all four criteria met? Two terms? Yes. Subtraction? Yes. Can I square root 25 and 36? Yes. Can I divide 2 and 4 by 2? Yes. So now I square root each term. 25y squared is 5y. Square root of the whole number, divide the exponent by 1. Square root of 36a4 is 6a2. Square root your whole number, divide your exponent by 2. Now we put it in the right form. First term plus second term. First term minus second term. Or this is probably the way that you'll most often see these. And that is it. You have 2 practice problems on that worksheet. I would like for you to pause this and do those practice problems and then come back and check your answers. Here are the answers to that. Hopefully this is what you got. If you did not, look at the answers and see if you can figure out what you have done wrong. And if you still don't know, text me. Homework is exercise 2. You need to do A and B. A is a review of yesterday's or last lessons, and B is new stuff. I may have that backwards, but one section is old stuff, one section is new stuff.